Hey everyone, hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I am just talking about life, giving you an update, a little channel update. I don't know, I'm catching up and it's been a little overdue, and so I just want to chat with you all and I'm excited to do so. So if you're new to my channel, know that my name is Shelly. I make a lot of book related content, and every once in a while I sit down and I just chit chat about stuff. So if you're liking the vibe, please subscribe, and without any further rambling on, let's go ahead and get into the meat of this video. Let me start with something that's already happened. Actually, two things that have already happened. Life has been extremely busy, partly because I agreed to be Maria, the signature character in the school that I work at, their school play for elementary school. I played the main character in the school play. It was a huge commitment. I will try and insert some pictures and clips. I've never really done anything like this. I was, for a very brief time, a voice major in college. So I can sing and I understand music theory. I can read music. I played piano for a decade in my youth, as a child and in my early youth. And it's just not something I've done for a very, very long time. So I was approached and asked, and I wasn't sure about it, but Ted, my very sweet husband, was so excited. The definition of a stage husband. He was just like, you have to do it. It's going to be so great. You're going to be so great in it. And it's going to be awesome. And so I agreed to do it. All the other characters were children in our school. Some of them were my students, sixth graders. Some of them were the fifth graders, and so on. And so I worked really closely, or rather closely, with our music teacher, and trying to execute this incredible production that she had in her mind. And the performance was, I don't even know, a week and a half ago. The final only one performance, showing one time only kind of thing. And to my absolute shock as somebody who is, I don't even sing praise and worship on the church praise and worship team. I've only done recitals. To my utter surprise and shock, which I was surprised, I was not nervous going out there. I was so calm and just went out there and did my thing. Am I so scared? A captain with 7 children. What's so fiercely bred? Not enough to call a sword. Teeth, a drink the damn bread. That will bring us back to And it was awesome. Actually, it was really sweet. My parents came to the performance because they sold their house in California and moved and bought a house in North Carolina. And in the process of closing and in that weird sort of interim time where you're put a bid on a house, but you don't have it yet, they stayed with me and my family for part of that time. And so during that time where they were staying with us, the performance happened. My kids were in it too. Like, if you know The Sound of Music, the kids were part of they were part of the choir, and they had, I don't know, they were part of the Lonely Goat Herd scene. My oldest Graham was, and I'll try and insert pictures where I can. So it was just a really cool experience to be a part of this school play, and to not be nervous was shocking to me. It was so cool. So it happened. It was the biggest thing that my school has ever done. And I was just really grateful and excited and satisfied to be a part of it. Some people had asked if I was relieved to be done. No, not relieved. I was just thrilled, like beyond thrilled, elated almost to have been a part of it and to have lived through that experience and to not have botched it up, not to have done something like shameful where I was thinking, oh my gosh, that went horribly wrong. Or it was just one of those moments where I felt extremely proud of my own self. It feels weird to say that, but I was very proud of myself and my school to have just pulled it off. Okay, I'm going to stop gushing about that. So my parents had stayed during the week of the performance and a couple of days after. And they were our house guests, and now they're like way closer to where I live. Instead of being 3 airplane rides away, they are a car drive away, just a couple of hours, which is such a blessing to have them close. I mean, they have been far away for a very long time, and to have them closer is a true blessing. And then meanwhile, back in March, I'm going to rewind a little bit, but it's going to take this particular event takes us through and then into the future. So back in March, I received an email from somebody that I was in contact with a few years ago. A few years ago, I had inquired about a library position at a private school, and at the time, they already had their former librarian who had been there for 30 years retired, and they had already hired somebody for that position. But they had it advertised as seeking, you know how that works. They're seeking a position, but they already have it filled. And I had gotten in contact with the school and the principal at that time to talk and to inquire about the position. Well, fast forward 2 years, the principal emailed me and said, hey, we remember you from a few years ago, and we were wondering if you'd like to interview for our librarian position because it's open again. The current librarian is moving on for personal reasons, not for a bad experience at for the school at all. It's actually she's actually able to retire, and so she's going to take that opportunity to do so. And so I interviewed and got the job. I mean, shocking. Literally, the email said a blast from the past, and I was like, I did not expect that. So I interviewed and I got the job, and I am going to be doing a tech/library position, which actually do so well together. I'm going to be teaching elementary technology, which can easily be integrated into library. Obviously, my mind is going nuts with ideas such as, teaching the kids how to search and how to search properly and how to identify reliable sources and reliable websites to search on, and just feeling so excited. So not only have I been brokering this communication between the new position and myself, also stepping down from my current position at the school that I'm at, which I love and am really quite sad to be moving on from. And then also excited about this new library position. It's at a small private school in it's going to be a drive. I'll be about 30 minutes away. And it's for a school that houses kindergarten or educates kindergarten through 8th grade. And so I'm really excited about the opportunity and to be in a library, which I've always wanted to be, and to be in an elementary school library. Well, it's going to be elementary and middle, but I mean, I'm just elated. I'm elated about that. And so that's been on my mind. And I'm just so excited. And I was actually even able to shadow the current librarian and make contact with her. She is planning on, volunteering and being connected to the school. And it feels really good to know that she had a really positive experience about it, or at the school, and that she's leaving with positive feelings and experience. And I don't know. I'm just excited, y'all. I'm just excited. What else can I say? I think in terms of life stuff, that kind of rounds it out. I mean, I am finishing my teaching year at the current school that I'm at, and any teachers out there and any parents out there know that the end of the school year is a riot of a time. It is just a very particular feeling, and it's been really, really busy. So just trying to keep my head in the game in terms of wrapping up my school year strong. And I mean, I do feel like I'm achieving that. It's just keeping that at the forefront of my mind, and being there, being present with the students that I have and with my own children in the last couple of weeks at the school that we're currently at. I will be taking my own children from this school to our new school together. It just makes the most sense. And yeah, I don't know. All that happened, and so I'm so excited about that. So moving on from life stuff to, like, I don't know, content struggles. I don't know what to call it. And to say struggles is such a strong word, because it's not struggles. It's that I have too many ideas and I want to talk about them with you. So the first thing that has already happened, and I'm just trying to figure out how to fully integrate this rhythm into my channel, is that I, for the first time in my entire YouTube career, stopped doing monthly wrap-ups. I didn't do a March wrap-up, and I haven't done an April wrap-up. And a wrap-up, for those of you who might be new to Booktube, the Booktube world, is where you talk about the books you read in the previous month. And I think what I wanted and what I've wanted to do for a long time is to make more focused wrap-up content. Someone is texting me, and I want to make sure it's not... Oh, okay. Okay, never mind. I was like, when I'm like this in real life as well. When somebody is texting or when somebody is talking to me and I am visiting with somebody, I actually don't really look at my phone. It's gotten to the point where my husband has texted and called me, and I wasn't paying attention because I was so focused on the person that I was with that he had to call the person I was visiting with in order to get a hold of me. So anyways, so I feel like you and I are visiting, and so I don't want to be rude and check my phone. I think of it as kind of impolite. So what was I saying? Oh yeah. So I didn't do a wrap up for March or April, because I wanted some fluidity in how I wrapped up books. And I wanted to be able to have reading projects that overlapped months. And so doing something like reviewing the last 3 historical fiction books I read was a video that I did, or wrapping up the 5 Irish books that I read. And to be able to film that and post that when I had finished reading all 5 Irish books, which may have not have been strictly within a singular month. It may have not have just been in March. It might have bled over into April. And so not doing a March wrap up, it allowed me to more focus my reading wrap up of a certain section, like the nonfiction books I read, or so I've done. It helped me to finish your thought, Shelley. It helped me to focus on categories that I've read, smaller reading projects within the larger scope of my reading, and to reflect on those particular books as a group rather than month by month, because it's changing one's mindset from wrapping up all the books I read in this month and thinking of the books in a category like a particular time period, to switching it to being it however I would like to group them, whether it be books about World War II or for example, I did, like a reading vlog, reading the highest rated and the lowest rated books on my TBR. And I could start that in March, not talk about the books that I read in that wrap up, and then publish the video in April after I had finished reading and going through that journey. So I had wanted to do content like this for a while, but I am noticing that I'm also in a little bit of a bind because there are books that I've kind of covered here and there, but I haven't talked about in a focused review, or I didn't give it its dedicated moment as a review on my channel yet, because it doesn't seamlessly fit into the reading categories or into a reading category that makes sense to have a whole singular video about. So what I'm saying is that in a weird way, I feel like those books are almost like outstanding in video content in the way that I wrap them up. They're like, all of those books are a bit outstanding because I haven't, like, late, or that I haven't fully wrapped them up because I haven't wrapped them up in a monthly wrap up. So I don't know, I'm thinking about maybe doing like a mega wrap up or something, where or speed reviews of all the books and even covering the ones that I've covered in previous videos. And that way every book has airtime and I can check them off in my mind as every book I've talked about. I'm not usually like I'm not a very rigid person in terms of like my content and stuff, but for whatever reason, I am still thinking about these books. Like they're still taking up a certain mind moment because I feel like I haven't fully talked about them yet, even if I've given them a dedicated review or I've reviewed them alongside just a few other books. I still feel like I haven't really talked about them, or there are books that I truly haven't talked about because they don't somehow fit into the other videos I'm making. So that's happened. So you might get more like 6 mega wrap-up speed reviews in a year rather than 12 monthly wrap-ups. That might work out better for me. But I still haven't fully figured it out, probably because I haven't quite had the bandwidth to figure out content because all of this other stuff has been going on in my life. And so I just wanted this is like a mega catch-up video because I'm like, ah. All right, and then let me think, what else? Oh, summer is coming up. I have an event, a June event that I am hosting with a bunch of wonderful co-hosts, and I'm going to be talking about that next week. And I'm really excited for that event. It may or may not have something to do with historical fiction, and my co-hosts are amazing, and I'm so excited to bring this to you all. And having said that, I am also thinking about how I'm not going to be teaching this summer, and I really want to really want to do some sort of either content project or reading project or both. So, or actually not even or, I want to have a content project and a reading project. And I don't care if they overlap or not. So I've considered this over and over and over again. And one of the videos, and this is not content project, but this is a thought thing that I've wanted to do, is that I kind of wanted to live my life, a day in the life of a trad wife, as a social experiment for the internet. The thing is that I don't want it to be taken the wrong way, because on the one hand, and I was just talking to Ted about it, and he was like, you should talk to your people about it. On the one hand, in the summer, weirdly, I kind of live a trad wife, a traditional wife life. I take care of the home. I take care of my children. We do projects. I clean the house and wait for Ted to get home so that we can have our evening together. And so it's interesting because the traditional trad wife phenomenon on the internet has fascinated me. I've not gone through many rabbit trails, but I find it fascinating because it is, in a lot of ways, cosplay, dressing up to have this 1950s romanticized version of a traditional wife role in the house. And you're dressed in high heels and, beautiful gowns, which there is nothing wrong with that. But there is something really paradoxical about saying one is a traditional wife, dressing in this way, and also putting a lot of work, but not mentioning the work that you're putting into the content that you're making, which is a non-traditional wife thing. I find it incredibly paradoxical, and there was a part of me that wanted to experiment with that. Like, what would it be like to wear heels in the home all day and to wear like a nod to 1950s fashion with the pearls and the hair? Because for all intents and purposes, I do the traditional wife role all throughout the summer, with the exception of running this channel. That's like the only, outside of the home, or the only kind of like work, non-traditional wife work that I do. So obviously, and I also think it's interesting because I grew up with a lot of women who chose to be in the home and to make their homes this magical, wonderful, incredible place to be, and homeschooled their kids. And because I was a homeschooled kid and my mother stayed at home for the majority of my childhood when I was growing up, and she did make the home this wonderful place. And I've had even friends comment on how she loved her role in the home, and she played that more traditional role, but she didn't do it in the way where it is being presented online, like with the hair and the makeup and the dress, the cosplay dress. So I kind of wanted to do like a day in the life. And of course I would incorporate reading into that. But I find the paradox, or like the concept, incredibly fascinating. And so I almost wanted to like explore it, but for my own social experiment purposes. But I don't know if anyone would be interested in that. I think it's almost like you have this forward facing with the trad wife, the content, right? Mostly content, not the actual traditional life. The actual traditional life, the ones that I have met, they vary in how they approach things and how they take care of their home and what they do for dinner. And it is such varied. And so anyways, the traditional life online is very homogenous in a lot of ways. And I think it's almost like the behind the scenes, like what time do you actually have to get up to get yourself ready to look the part that you're going to now play for the internet in this way. So I don't know. I've been thinking about that, partly because I have this opportunity where I don't work in the summer and I can experiment with it. So I don't know why it got in my mind, and sometimes I just have an idea in my mind and it lives there and I need to like do something with it or even talk about it with you all. And that's doing something with it in order to like get it out. And then I have so many ideas, not necessarily for videos, but for reading projects. I had thought about maybe doing a series in which I finally read books that have been lingering on my shelves for years. So like finally reading Gone Girl, finally reading The Things They Carried by Tim O'Brien, and the list can go on and on. Finally reading Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. I mean, just so many books that have been recommended to me over the years that now have lingered on my shelves for years. So I thought about that as a project. I have thought about doing some sort of video or reading project of reading new releases until I'm sick of them, because a lot of times new releases don't go very well with me. So I own Buffalo Hunter. I own Emma Donoghue's new book, The Paris Express. I have books on my shelves that I have been meaning to read and I just haven't gotten there yet, you know, or even living on my Kindle that are brand new that I could do something like that with. But just like reading brand new releases until I'm like, I can't do it anymore, because mostly some of the worst reads I had last year and probably the year before were brand new releases. But I'm like, do I want to make myself miserable? Am I shooting myself in the foot by doing that? Because maybe I will actually love all the books that I read. I don't know. Lots of questions out there, but so it makes the concept kind of fun, right? And then for actual content, the thing that I really want to do is I want to do more literary retrospectives, where I choose a year, and I've done 5, 6, where I choose a year and I talk about what that year contained in terms of books that we still talk about, books that made an impact, books that won prizes, book news for that year. That I just think that would be really cool, you know, really, really fun. I had even thought about reading books in a similar category, like historical fiction books, and running my own literary prize where I am the judge. And so, you know, choosing maybe 3 or 4 or even 5, like a short list of historical fiction books for my shelves and reading them and then reviewing them as, you know, if they were contenders on a prize, what would have won, and if I was the singular judge. So a lot of ideas of reading books on my shelves, a lot of ideas for possible content, and just also like joyfully living in that headspace. I'm excited about the summer. I'm excited about what the summer could bring. And I think that I am just really excited about the ideas that I have. I just don't know which ones to focus on. So I feel a little scattered in that way. So this is what I'm bringing to you. Thoughts, ideas, help. I really want to hear from you. I really want to know what you would like to see, or you know, things that excite you and why they excite you that I might be able to contribute to, or that I might be able to do my own version of. Yeah, and I know so many of you are so sweet, because you say, whatever you do, Shelley, we like what you do. And in that way, I'm ever so grateful for that. And so, you know, so yeah, I guess that's it. This was a ramble about what has happened, what I'm thinking about, and where I'm potentially wanting to go in terms of reading and content. So, yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you. You know, leave your comments, please, down below. I love for this to be a conversation, so I appreciate you immensely. And I really hope to see you all in the next one. Bye.